Okay. I'm going to go to the restroom with David. I want you guys tune.
Okay.
So David, go ahead. Okay. So get comfortably close. I mean, if you're too close, you'll poke him.
Yeah.
But you need to get close so he can see. So,
Okay.
probably around here. So get comfortable. Be right back.
Just say right. This D. Blow it. Yeah. The G blow. Is this close enough for you to see me? Or
So, yeah, that would be fine. And whatever. Okay. Yeah, see you figure out.
Okay. I'm trying a new streaming thing, so it looks pretty good, but this is not coming out so well here. There you are. It's pretty clear. So, all right. So let's play some Klingel.
So, simple. Yeah, it's okay.
Mhm.
Good.
So you're clear on the cuts and everything, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So just the first four measures right before he comes in, you know.
Yes.
Bum ba bum bum bum. Wait. Okay. You came too early. Can you play that again for him?
Yes.
One, two, three, four.
Is that where we're gonna stop?
Well, it's probably going to be around there.
Okay.
Around.
So do a little bit more. Can you just play?
Yeah.
Can you just play through that? Like 8 to 16 measures. Let's see where we are.
Yeah. Recap.
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
start at G.
Yeah, on G.
Yeah.
So
What actually? Can you start like 2 measures before that?
2 measures before G.
You see, I mean,
Two before
before the
key
cut.
G.
Before the cut.
oh, so like
Two.
149.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
2 before the cut, then take the cut.
Because I can still read that.
Oh, 137. He means when I'm on.
Oh, 137. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
2 before the cut.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, good. So now just be ready to play through that a little bit, and that way it sounds like a little, like okay, we'll stop. Because
Okay.
about there, we still need to play your etude and then two
Etudes and
scales. So in 10 minutes, this is a good 4 to 5 minutes. So by the time you're off stage and come on stage and all that stuff, it's we're gonna run
It's
out
a
of
good
time.
chunk of time.
I think so. Okay, now the big thing would be we need to be more consistent in our tempo. So
Sometimes I'm too fast.
not too slow. Like the triplets when you're playing the first time, your triplets are too slow. So I like the tempos. And sometimes you played some wrong notes, like some F sharps and C sharps weren't supposed to be there. So in particular, there's this one where you went. Played F sharp there. Also in the A minor, there was a time where you play like a C sharp. You were supposed to play a C sharp in that little area. This part. There's no C sharp. So make sure it's because they don't know this piece. I think other people have played it in the past 10 years, but I don't think they'll remember it. But it sounds like he's playing A minor, and then you're playing A major, and it's not like a modern piece.
Yeah.
And it's not on purposely. It's not written on purpose with this in mind, with bitonality. So you have to make sure it's really, really in the correct key. Now let's go back to the beginning. Oh, 1 second. Hi, Dr. Pinnell. How are you?
Sorry to interrupt.
No problem.
Yeah, 1 second.
Sure. Why don't you guys start at the beginning and try to just stay right there?
Right where you go.
So
Yeah, we're gonna do right at A.
What is it?
Right at A.
Right
So
at
it's
A,
be
okay.
1, 2, 3, da da da.
Want to do my intro? Or do you
No,
just
we'll just start right at A.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you. So I hate to say like you got to be like more like a dictator with the tempo, and he's being very nice to you, he's your friend, and he's just making sure that he's not gonna step on your toes.
Yeah.
But you need to stay in tempo. Now for your one thing you could do without him, without a rehearsal, just okay, this is the tempo. I'm just going to stick to it. And of course, in the app, you just like tap on it. You just get your tempo, whatever it is, and just stick to it. It's really important to stick to it. Okay. So now, start again from the beginning, and let's just. I'm gonna every once in a while I'm gonna play it just to keep you in check. Okay. I won't play until I feel in need to. Ready? Right in your chord.
Oh, do you need me to play?
No, it's okay. Just start right on it. Oh no, you can play. You can play. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But start on.
Yeah,
his
we're gonna
A's.
start right on it.
Start on that. Yes.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3, 4. More sound. Okay, so now you're starting to feel how it all relates. So you have, and it just is, what is this piece trying to teach? Well, it through some nice melodies and some transitions and some nice chords and stuff, just teaching you some basic music, like musicality and form. But more than that is a concertino is kind of like not a big concerto, but it's a concertino, so more like someone like in your level learning how to play a concerto. But he's playing, he has a theme, but he also has like eighth notes and triplets and 16th notes. So playing with that subdivision. So you have to understand how to keep that pulse and the flow going. You go too slow in the pretty moments, then the fast moments, it could slow it down. You have to pick up the tempo. So to keep it like basically flowing in the same tempo, I think is one of the purposes of this piece. Can you be expressive? Can you get that subdivision? And it's very important for you, for example, to at your level to make sure that you understand that. So I've judged a lot in UIL competitions, and I hear pieces like this. And one of the biggest complaints I have is that people don't play the right rhythms. And here's one of the problems people have is eighth notes and triplets sound the same. So that your eighth notes are sounding like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that's normal. But then when you get the triplets, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. But what does that do? That's called metric modulation. You're slowing down the beat. So now the eighth note and one eighth note equals one triplet eighth note. You see, and then but what does that do? Instead of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 t-ta, 2 t-ta, 3 t, right? It
Yeah.
slows it down. So that's what happens, and that's what slows down the energy. And you started with some good energy, and then it just slows down. And then when you get to the 16th notes, you try to get back to tempo, but it's not 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, or it's not 1 t-ta, 2 t-ta. It's somewhere in
It's
between.
Yeah.
And it's also wrong. So you have three tempos that are different from each other.
Yeah.
And not necessarily any of them. The first one is right. The second and third one are wrong. So anyway, sorry to explain all that, but that's my pet peeve of the day. And it happens a lot. So it's not that I want you to play boring and all in one tempo. There could be some flexibility, right? But it's just that when it's so far apart, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So that is important. Second is make sure you're playing the right notes. And I already pointed out some obvious ones of those F sharps and C sharps were in the wrong place. Next is when some fingerings you're still doing wrong, like an extension, it's not 1 3 4, but 1 extend 2 4, and so sometimes you read just going back to your old ways, like your Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde or something, right? So just make sure that is correct. Now let's start in the second section when you go to A minor. Let's start from that area.
Where F is? Yeah, where we have the development? Yeah. Okay.
So right when you come in. Actually, no. Give them two measures, please.
Just the two measures
Yeah.
before? It's a lot. Okay, yeah, we waited. Okay. Right? Yeah.
Well, Rada, right there. It sounded like you played B natural. You understand? Make sure it's the right notes. One more time, right off. Just start right where you come in.
Okay.
Run. So you need to also be more right-handed, bow-minded. You're left-minded, and then you start like it starts to sound like that. So really, the clearer the sound, the clearer you have your notes as well, right? Read the notes, don't read the fingerings. The fingers are there as a guide, but if you read the fingerings, you're going to be playing the wrong notes, and that's probably what happened when you play the C sharp. You're reading the fingerings, but okay. Can you start in that measure?
123. Yeah, 123.
So start on that number. So start on the down.
2, 3, 4.
More sound, crescendo. This is an easy part. Have fun. On the bridge. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Just keep going. There you go. So now we just play right straight through that, and we'll stop you around here. Okay, so that was better. You had more sound, and it sounded better, and you could hear yourself. You can adjust better.
Mhm.
It just you need your bow.
Yeah.
There is a paradox, I guess you could say, because I want you to feel like the bow is the leader. Yet your left hand has to be first before the bow, left and right. And it's true, because if your left hand is too late, then you're going to sound like this, right? But we have a special guest come in.
Hello. Do you have a copy of Hide and Seek here?
I don't.
Oh, okay. I think I have one somewhere. Could you maybe bring it?
It's at home,
Yeah, like sometime
maybe.
in the near future.
There's also one online.
I thought it's copyright.
That's online.
Oh.
Look it up.
Okay.
Okay. So when you put your finger down simultaneously with the bow, there's a big risk of it sounding like this. Right? Because this is what happens. Hear that? Whoa. Right. So it kind of skates a little bit, and it has a pitch like that, kind of it goes out of tune. So it's very different now. Because you hear that extra little noise there. Slow motion. Fast motion. Correct. You hear the difference?
Yeah.
So when you put your finger down first, then your bow. Sorry. It's so dumb. I got this nice end pin. Now it's dull. Okay, but the bow is like a leader in the sound. If you keep looking at the left hand or wondering if you're playing right, you won't hear it. So really, really focus here. But the paradox is this is be like quick before the bow.
Mhm.
So it seems like this is the leader. It just has a lot of responsibilities, like almost equal. I mean, basically equal. But the sound leaders on this side. Okay. All right. Let's go back to the beginning. And we have some time. Good. Ready?
Start right on A.
Yeah, just,
Okay, good.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Bow it by the bridge. Horse up. Go slow down. That's the main action. Sorry. Did that before David. Isn't it?
On 45,
Yeah.
44?
It's a B natural.
B natural, and then it's a B flat. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So be careful about that, because you learned it and you learned it wrong. Just like one note here, one note there. So you need to do a little review. Go back and review it. We'll go back and review it. Go back and review it. It's okay. You basically could probably play a lot of it by memory, but sometimes we memorize it wrong. Just one note. Really look at it carefully, and go back and edit. All right. Okay. So can you start from? You don't have to do that each time. Just start. Like let this. Just like
Yeah,
give a
I
4,
can catch
1.
that.
That's good. Vibrato. Bow it, bow it, bow it. Watch the pitch. Be natural. Now be flat. Tempo. So right there, right there, right there. It's a C sharp. So the same. So two extensions across from each other. So start to think for yourself that there is, as you look at notes, don't look at one note, look at three. Don't look at three, look at six. Look at the whole measure. You understand? Don't just look at one note because that's going to make you, I mean, do you drive the car? You drive a car?
Yeah.
Do you just look right in front of the hood when you're driving? You're looking ahead, you're looking behind, like you know where you are.
Mhm.
And so if there's a stop sign coming or something like that, you're slowing down in time, Otherwise, you're going to skid right into the intersection, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is not life or death when you're reading music, but you have to look ahead. Look ahead. Look ahead. It's super helpful. What happens? Your brain already premeditates the movements, the motions, the rhythms. And then as you get there, it's already queued up. Then as you're playing that measure, you're looking at the next measure. That's what's happening, right? It's very complex, isn't it?
Mhm.
So the better you get at that, the better you're going to play. Trust me. Because there's a lot of things to look at on the highway, right?
Yeah.
It's scary sometimes. So, but same thing with playing. And in fact, when we play, some of that fear does come into us, even though I don't know why we are fearing so much. It's not life or death, but some of the same reactions happen in your body. Maybe you're like, you can't control what you're doing. So look ahead, prepare it, and go. So can you go from
It's round B.
Find the bridge. Oh, see what you slow it down. So it's the same tempo. You started going. That's just your brain lagging behind, like a slow computer. You understand? You gotta. Can you just go to Costco, get yourself a new processor for your brain? They have a sale on Sunday. I know it sounds funny, but maybe it's early in the morning. What you have to think about is a brain problem, not your finger problem. It's always our brain. If I can't play something, I'm like, why can't I play it? It's my brain problem. Figure it out. What are these notes? What's the tempo? Then you make a calculation, and your fingers will figure it out much faster than you could ever imagine. Look ahead. Look ahead. Try one more time. Let's see. 1, 2, ready, go. You got ahead. Your brain maybe is too smart for us. You're 1 beat ahead of us. But what was I doing? I was playing triplets the whole time. You kept the eighth notes. That's good. But that's in a way you have to be able to, as you play, understand what a triplet feels like and sounds like.
Mhm.
Okay. Could you come today at the studio class?
Yeah, I'll be at studio. It's at
3:30.
3:30. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can be
awesome.
there.
Okay, so well, let's finish this up there. You guys can perform on stage, and we'll have less comments, but it'll be a good chance to be on stage and play, and that's where we have our jury. So it's kind of good to be able to play through for yourself. All right.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. And oh no, you're gonna play some more.
Oh, I'm gonna play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you
I
have
don't
other
know
stuff
what
to
time
play.
it is.
Yeah, yeah. But I just want to make sure we cover some other things. Thank you, McKay.
Yeah, McKay.
Yeah. Thank you, McKay. And just have to other things to cover. But that's the main thing. Stay in tempo, and you're doing a good job staying in tempo. But you have to do a better job, David, of doing eighth notes, triplets, 16ths. Keep that pulse. You're doing a good job. But, we want to show off your good work. And if you don't, it's because you've made it inconsistent in some way. All right, thank you. See you in a little bit. Okay, so you can move the stand wherever it's comfortable. Yeah, watch. Right. So let's play those scales. Your scale. So let's play A major. A major. Expect something from the G string and something from the C string. Okay. Ride the bridge. Okay, E flat minor. E flat minor. Thank you. Start again. All right, so honestly, that last one was a disaster. Was it's like a date gone wrong. It's like the worst thing happened, and everything the worst thing happened in the date. When you play the first part, it was very good. I mean, the first attempt wasn't good. The second attempt was better.
Yeah.
Now, this fingering system um, there are some patterns there that I wish that people would get to know them. But I'm going to show you how to think about it. It's not that difficult because in major, you have two extensions in a row, except for C major because you're using open strings. Two extensions in a row. Some of them go up the same string, some of them go across the string. Then after that's 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, two extensions in a row. Then we have 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, no extension. Then we have 1, 2, 3, or 1, 3, 4. And the 1, 2, 3s are only A, B flat, and B. Okay. Everything else below A flat down to C is 1, 3, 4. Okay. That means the second octave. Now the last octave, the third octave, is always 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And then 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, or 4, depending, and then going fours, and then extension at the end, just going in reverse. Now, also, there is something about how you shift. So, when you're shifting, it's right there. But see, when I shift back, I don't shift on 1, I shift on 4. Whole step back, and I'm in position. Whole step back, I'm in position. So you notice I also figure out a way to connect a position across the string. So here, F sharp. So that's not the position I want this one. So what note is in common? Well, this one. Right, the fourth finger E, back in low fourth position. And it's across to fourth finger B in the position I want, which is the next one with G sharp. So, do you see what I'm trying to say? Then I go on to the next position. It's right there. So you have to find a note that's in common with the two positions. Now in minor, it's the same thing. In that you have to find a note in common with the two positions as you cross the strings and shift. So, but as you play, you have E flat here, and we have 1, 3, 4 for the first part. And that doesn't change.
Mhm.
But also the other one that doesn't change is the 1, 2, 4 here. 1, 2, 4 extension. Now this one's right in the middle. And then 1, 2, 1, 2. This one doesn't change. Why do I say it doesn't change? Because when melodic minor is happening, you have the 6th and 7th notes are raised and on the way up and lowered on the way down. So I'm just pointing out to you the things that don't change. So then you're going to shift down this way because it's E flat. Shifts the fourth finger on F, but now I have an extension. Then fourth position, no extension. Then watch my fourth finger coming back. There's the G flat extension. Then fourth finger coming back. Now no extension, 1, 3, 4. Then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. With the top two are raised. Now they're lowered. Then 4 and there's E flat. And this in the second octave on the way back, you have 3 extensions in a row. Always. Then half position. Move up. So do you see? I gave it to you pretty quickly, but there are patterns there. You have to memorize the patterns. At the same time, memorizing the sounds and match the patterns to the sounds. Or sounds to the patterns, whatever way you want to say it. But you started and then as if you didn't know where the pitch was. And then you got to the A string and then you knew where the pitch was. Then you got back to the middle, you didn't know where the pitch was. Usually people don't know where the pitch is in the upper half. It's very strange, but you just got lost there. You have to really work on that. And, I'm not going to choose the scales. I'm going to have them choose it. So it's going to be random. So, but I try to give you one that's normal, an A major. You did a pretty good job. E flat minor is like you just started the cello, like you didn't know what to do. So once again, consistency. Be consistent. A major and an E flat minor were basically the same. Great. You have to be consistent though.
Mhm.
Please, consistency is super important. Next, let's play your A2. So we have to get going in a few minutes. We both have class. You have class. Bow it, please. Bow. More bow energy. Thank you. Relax. You can't just. You had this spot. Why did you mess up?
Because I was thinking about
The down
how
bow.
my bow should have been.
You were opposite bow, and that's why I said down bow. Down beats in this beat are all down bow. So if you get to a down beat and you're up bow, the first beat, the first note, switch. Do something about it. Figure it out.
Okay.
So that means taking 2 ups, take 2 downs, slur something, separate something, whatever. Do whatever it takes to get back on course. Okay, can you start from? It's really annoying. Can you go from? See where it is? No extension. See, look at your pinky's doing this. See, your pinky's doing this. Move it closer. There's a case where your brain knows it's a B flat, but you're playing a B natural, and you don't hear that it's a B natural. So your ear is the ultimate guide. Okay, you understand? Don't play wrong. If you hear it wrong, something's wrong. So now again, ready, go. Again, ready, go. Why are you shifting? Once you're there, you're there. Watch. Sorry. Yeah, stay. And then you start shifting a little bit. Again. Ready, set, go. Again, go. Again, ready, set, go. Am I confusing you? I won't play.
I don't know.
Play by yourself, but I'm just trying to help you. Ready, set, go. Yeah, it's too sharp. Again, 1, 2, go. Got the A. What's wrong? Why do we keep messing up? Are you looking at the fingering? Is a wrong fingering there? What's wrong? Figure it out. Is it because there's a fourth finger there?
I have the fourth finger on it's right here.
Yeah, it's an open A. You're missing it. See, play right here. Play right here. That's a B flat. Lower. Go on. Go on. And don't shift. You're there.
Yeah.
You're there. Thank you. Okay.
I'm sorry.
You were playing it wrong the whole time, David. So now here, before we go, you have to do the following. Well, first of all, I could tell you're practicing, but you're practicing and not editing. So how can you edit? Well, you got technology in your pocket. Get your phone out and record it and scrutinize it. Remember, the ear is the ultimate guide. If it sounds wrong, if it's out of tune, it's out of tune. Make your ear the ultimate veto power, meaning that whatever happens, your ear is going to decide whether it's good or bad. Okay. Next, review all the notes. Make sure you're playing it correctly. Like we pointed out some things in a Klingle. It's like, why are you playing C sharp there? It's not a C sharp. Why are you playing B flat there? It's not a B flat. Mark it in your part. Remind yourself what's good. And then be more consistent. Your scales need to be consistent. You need to have a good tone. Lead with your right arm with the bow. Bow it. Like I said, bow, bow, bow. Second, good intonation. Third, a good rhythm, good pace, pulse. The pacing is good. All the subdivisions are good too. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? You really, really, really do your best for that. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.